Hello fellow duelists, this is Shadow of the Moon, and today I'm going to be showing you my updated deck profile of my Harpie deck for January 2022. Now, I'm really excited to actually be able to finally have this deck upgraded, for the most part, the best that it's able to, and with Brothers of Legend really helping speed this deck up with Summon Storm and Wing Requital especially. Now that Harpies have their own draw cards, you don't have to rely on Pot of Extravagance or Upstart Goblin if you want to throw that in there. But yeah, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching my channel and viewing my content. Please always appreciate you commenting and stuff and always saying how much you like it, the people who actually do. And just all in all, thank you so much for always watching my channel. You guys rock. Thank you so much. All right, and with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first we're going to have 3 copies of Harpie Lady. You can run the Harpie Lady 1, the one that has effect that gives all wind monsters an additional 300 attack. I'm choosing to run this because I'm using Unexpected Eye. This is the original Harpie card, and it's a level 4, so I have Unexpected Eye in here to be able to bring it out with ease. And this main deck all focuses on the Harpie Lady. Now, ironically, I only have 17 monsters in this deck, but because of how easy it is to search for all of these cards, you only really need that many. You don't even really need like 20 or more, because it's so easy to bring these cards out. Besides, you need a lot of the extra stuff in here because it really does help. And then 3 copies of probably, in my opinion, one of the best Harpie cards in the game, Harpie Channeler. So by discarding a Harpie card, you can special summon a Harpie monster from your deck. Now, what makes that beneficial, in my opinion, is by you being able to use Harpie Perfumer. This is going to allow you to add Elegant Egotist or a Spell and Trap, Harpie Lady Sister Spell and Trap from your deck to your hand. Anything that's listed as Harpie Lady Sisters, such as Harpie Lit Rest or Elegant Egotist, which is mainly what you're going to be getting for it. Also, it can make its level 7 if you do have a level 7 like Harpie's Pet Dragon or whatever on the field, and then be able to go into a rank 7 monster. But I had to drop that because it is, honestly, it does clog up your hand if you have it, because if you have that only card in your hand, there's really no way to summon it except for discarding it. So I just strictly made this more of a pure Harpie deck. And then also one of the best cards in this deck, Harpie Perfumer. So as I said before in the other, on Harpie Channeler, if you have a Elegant Egotist, or if you have Special Summon or Normal Summon this card, you can add an Elegant Egotist or a card that specifically lists Harpie Lady Sisters in its text from your deck to your hand. So that's very good, very powerful, and really it makes the deck so much more consistent to be able to get all your Harpie cards out as much as possible, and be able to go into Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, and then being able to go into Zeus. So then we've got 2 copies of Harpie Harpist. This is a card you want to see mostly in the graveyard, because if this card was sent to the graveyard this turn, you can add a level 4 Winged Beast type monster from your deck to your hand. That's the only reason that it's in here, because it's really good to be able to go into the graveyard, and then you get an additional Harpie card to add to your hand at the end phase of the turn. Then 1 copy of Harpie Oracle. Harpie Oracle, I had to knock it down to 1 because its effect is really good, because if you have a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. So if you have like Cyber Harpie, or if you have Cyber Slash Harpie, or if you have Harpie Lady Sisters, you special summon this from the hand. Also, if this card is in the graveyard, you can add a Elegant Egotist or a Harpie card from your graveyard back to your hand. Or if this card is normal special summon, you can add a spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand that lists Harpie Lady Sisters in it. So that was my fault. Misread the text on that one because I don't use it that often. So this will allow you to get a Harpie Lady Sisters text card from your graveyard to your hand when it's normal special summon. And then we've got 1 copy of Harpie Queen. This is going to allow you to discard to add Harpie's Hunting Ground from your deck to your hand. Also, it fills up your graveyard with Harpies. And then we've got, for the Winged Beast, you've got the Berry Set of Stormwind, because you can always lock your opponent in it from not being able to special summon anything but wind monsters. And then for the hand trap, we have 3 copies of Fantastical Dragon Phantasma. Say that 5 times fast. So this is the hand trap in the deck, because if your opponent controls a Link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and you can draw cards equal to the number of materials that they use for their Link monster. Also, if it's on the field, it has a quick effect that if they activate a spell, trap, or effect, you can discard a card from your hand to negate it and destroy it. So it's actually very helpful, and it does come in handy quite a bit. So that's going to be it for the monsters. Like I said, it's only like 17. We're going to move on to the spells and traps. So first, obviously, 3 copies of Elegant Egotist. This is one of the main cards in the deck. This allows you to special summon Harpie Lady from your hand, deck, or graveyard, or from your hand or deck. And all in all, Elegant is the best card in this deck because it lets you special summon from your hand or your deck. Then you've got 3 copies of Hysteric Sign. This, when activated, allows you to search for your Elegant Egotist and add it to your hand. Also, its secondary effect, which a lot of people don't really seem to use that often, that if you, and not the same turn that you use its first effect, but if it gets destroyed by a card effect instead of the graveyard, you can add 3 Harpie cards from your deck to your hand. That is insane because that's going to give you so much more fuel for this deck, and can add like Harpie's Featherstorm and add any Harpie card from your deck to your hand to be able to get you that fuel. And then you've got 1 copy of Harpie's Hunting Ground. This is a great card. This is going to allow you to pop cards on your opponent's side of the field, but be warned that if you do not have a target for it, it has to destroy itself. So sadly, that is the only downside to this card, but it is great to be able to get rid of your opponent's back row. And then Harpie's Feather Rest. If you have 3 or more Harpie monsters in the graveyard, you can shuffle 3 of them back into your deck to draw a card. Also, it has a secondary effect, which is really, really cool. A lot of people don't actually expect this. If you have a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, when you activate this card, so if, say, you have a Cyber Slash Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters, you can draw 2 cards instead, so that gives you a little extra bonus on that one. And then 3 copies of Unexpected Die, because this is going to allow you to special summon your Harpie Lady from your deck. If you control no monsters, you can special summon a level 4 monster, normal monster from your deck. Alright, so I have 3 Wing Requital. This is the Japanese version of it. I have 3 coming that are the secret rare because the price did go down quite a bit. So this is a really, really great add-on to this deck, because if you control 2 or more winged beast type monsters that have different names, obviously it's very easy for this deck because everything in this deck is going to have different names when it's on the field. You can draw 2 cards by paying 600 life points. You can only activate it once per turn, but this is a great way to be able to dig into your Harpie cards because you want that draw power. That's why I have this, and that's why I have like Harpie's Feather Rest and everything in this deck, because you want to be able to see these cards in your hand because you want to be able to keep drawing. And 600 honestly is not that bad at all. I choose to run this Harpie's or Wing Requital this than like my Blackwing, because Blackwing Allure Darkness still, in my opinion, is like the best card for draw power for that deck. And then 2 copies of Summon Storm. By paying 800 life points, you can special summon a level 6 or lower wind monster from your hand, and not the same turn that it's activated, but another turn, if this is in your graveyard, you can banish it to special summon a level 4 wind monster from your graveyard. Okay, so now you go on to the Raigeki, the Harpie's Feather Duster, and the Monster Reborn. So Monster Reborn is going to be good for being able to take your opponent's your opponent's monster to special summon it, Harpie's Feather Duster to clear your opponent's back row, and then Raigeki basically destroy all monsters on your opponent's side of the field. If you have Lightning Storm, you can replace these 2 with Lightning Storm, or replace 3 of them with Lightning Storm. But I usually just try to, they tend to be pretty expensive so far, so I just stick with the Harpie's Feather Duster and like the Raigeki. And then that's it for the spell guys. Let's move on to the trap. So first, 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm, quite possibly one of the best cards in this deck. This shuts down your opponent's monster effects. Like it's insane. Being able to play this from your hand if you control a Harpie monster, but also the effect of just being able to drop it, your opponent starts their turn, you play it, they can't activate monster effects, so they're pretty much sitting there twiddling their thumbs, not being able to do anything, and it's just so cheap, because you can search with this card in this deck, and that's, I think, what makes it cheap, is it's a way to be able to get this into your hand, and it, you know, most cards like this don't let you do that, but just being able to do that is just, it's insane. And then 1 copy of Hysteric Party, because you can get the monsters in here, but I use this mainly because it allows you to special summon as many Harpie Ladies that you have in your graveyard as possible, but just be forewarned that their names do become Harpie Ladies while they're on the field and stuff, so yeah, it can, you know, you'll be able to special summon a certain amount, but if you have like multiple copies of stuff, you can easily get the 5 monsters on the field. This is a great way to be able to swarm your field with Harpie monsters to be able to go into your extra deck plays. Alright, so that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's move on to the extra deck. Okay, so first, 1 copy of Cyber Slash. You can run 2 if you want. I'm just running 1 because these are actually somewhat expensive now for the most part. If this can be used for 2 Harpie monsters, one of them can be used as a tuner to be able to special summon this from your extra deck. And if you activate if a spell trap or effect is activated or effect is activated, you can bounce back a monster on your opponent's side of the field which makes this insane just to be able to pop that one card and stuff, because say they start getting going in their plays and everything, and then you say you activate Elegant Egotist. If they have something on the field that you don't want, you activate Elegant Egotist and then activate its effect, and you can bounce back the monster, but you can only activate it once per turn, so just keep that in mind. And then probably the big bad boy himself, Zeus the Sky Thunder. I'm so glad they reprinted this in the 10s, because he really needed to be reprinted. He is a board wipe. So what I'm going to show you is, I'm going to show you in the video. Make sure that you watch the combo video that I'm going to be posting up after this. That's going to be coming after. But the way is, it works like this. Harpie's Phantasmal Dragon has 3 materials, because you have to have 3 level 4 Winged Beast type monsters. But when it attacks, it can allow you to attack directly, because it can attack directly as long as you have the material. But then, on the main phase 2, you can go into Zeus. And then Zeus makes it to where it has not 1, but two effects. Because you'll have 2 materials for the first, and then it'll still allow you to have the 2 materials for the second one, which is just crazy. I love Zeus in this deck, because Zeus works so well. It's like this deck was made for Zeus. And then the 2 copies of Harpie's Phantasmal Dragon. Your opponent cannot target Harpie monsters or this card with cards, effects, or attacks. So that's what makes it very important. Obviously, if they have Lightning Storm or like Raigeki or something, they can get rid of it, because it doesn't destroy, it doesn't, you can still go through it with like cards like Zeus and everything, but mainly it's good for be able to protect yourself, and also it can attack directly with 2000, which can become very, very annoying. Now, granted, you do have to detach material at the end phase of the turn, but that's okay, because you can at least get 3 attacks out of this guy, so doing about 6,000 total for just 1. So if you have 2 on the field, that's easily going to be game. And then 1 Tornado Dragon to be able to pop spell and traps. You have Castel to be able to send monster cards back to the back to the deck. Ice Beast Xerophine to be able to negate everything on the field, basically field negate, and then increase attack by 300 points for each face-up card on the field. And then Lightning Chidori to be able to destroy set cards on the field. And then lastly, I'm just using all these at once because they're all level 4 and they all work really well with it. Abyss Dweller to kind of shut down your opponent's graveyard effects and everything. So I'm choosing to run, like, showing you all 5 because pretty much they're all important. They're all like level 4s. And then for the Link, we've got Ominous Wind. This is actually very easy to be able to get out. And also when this card is special summoned or another monster is special summoned to the zones that it points to, you can banish 1 card on the field. So that's very, very important for this deck because you can actually be able to banish a lot of cards that way. And then we have the Smorg Bird of Sovereignty. This is going to go into your lock with Bear Stash of the Stormwinds. Then 1 copy of Harpie Conductor. If a Harpie card would be destroyed by battle or by card effect or whatever, you can send a Harpie card back to your hand. So obviously this can go back to the extra deck to be able to prevent a Harpie card from being destroyed by battle. Okay, and then you've got Tri-Brigade, Farragut, the Baron Blossom. This lets you draw cards, and also can special summon a level 4 a lower monster from your hand. So that's very, very good, great way to be able to get more field presence. And then you have Barricading Board Blocker. That card always gets me. This lets you add back Hysteric Sign, and allows you to play it again when using for the Elegant Egotist. That's the main card that's in here. And then lastly, the Umduck, the World Chalice Dragon. This rams into your opponent. It only costs 1. It's only a link 1. It rams into your opponent, and then it destroys the monster. So, alright, so that's going to be it for the Harpie Lady deck profile. I'm really glad to especially have gotten Zeus to be able to upgrade this deck, because this deck is a lot of fun to play because of just how fast it is. Now, this is, keep in mind, this is a going second deck, meaning that if you, it's preferred to be able to go second, but if you can't, you could still go up with some amazing plays, but that allows you to go into Harpie's Phantasmal Dragon and then being able to go into Zeus right afterwards. This deck actually, sadly, can be somewhat expensive, but there is ways to be able to make it a little cheaper if you want to get like less hollow versions of it. And some of the cards have been reprinted a couple times, like Harpie Chandler and everything, and Harpie Harpist is actually not that expensive. Perfumer actually came out. That's actually not that expensive too. Let me see where it came out at. So this came out of Legendary Collection Season 2. So this actually isn't that hard to get a hold of either. The only real expensive card in this deck is this, which is almost $20, or it almost is $20 on TCG Player. But other than that, it's actually not that expensive. So I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I'm glad to have finally been able to update it. And with that, see you guys next time.